And we're here. And we're here. So here's the panel. Peace, sister.
Peace, peace. How you
How
doing
you doing?
today?
I'm doing
I'm
amazing.
good.
How about yourself?
I'm feeling great. The sun is out. It came out today. I feel like it's divine
Yay.
timing. Um, I'm driving, so don't mind me if I'm in and out, but I'm here.
Okay, awesome. I'm grateful that you're here today. Peace, everyone.
Okay.
Welcome in. Make sure you share the live. Share the live. Today we're having a community circle. And in the circle, we're going to talk about astrology. It's not a class, but it is a circle. And what we do in our circles is we gather and we have a certain task or topic. You know, like last time we was going over self-care. We learned a lot of different self-care tips. We did some self-care activities. And tonight we're talking about astrology. So with astrology, what's different from the circles to the classes are going to go into studying it. So when we do our astrology classes, we're going to learn about the signs, the houses, aspects and things like that, and what astrology is. But today in our circle, we're going to gather with our people, and we're going to look into each other's charts. We're going to get to know each other a little bit more. Astrology goes so deep, so we're really going to look into the sun and moon, but we'll see how it goes. If it goes there, it goes there. I'm ready.
Hey,
Grateful for the gift.
I just want to contribute one thing to this. You know how a lot of us are coming from backgrounds of Christianity, and the Bible tells us to love thy neighbor as thyself. Astrology is that tool to help us be able to accomplish that, because we must first understand our reactions and responses in different situations with different people and places in order to be able to look at another with empathy, grow with understanding, to say I love this person too.
Yes.
So astrology is an amazing tool that is, I don't know if you hear my GPS, but I know astrology is an amazing tool to help us be closer. It's, to me, I see it as the missing link, especially when it comes to the wombs, because men, they're more, they're left-brained and they're more thinking logically, whereas women, we have a lot of layers that we got to get through and go through. Not to say that men don't, but the majority of our time will be spent amongst ourselves in the form of the feminine aspect. In order for us to really solidify these relationships, astrology is a tool that can help us do that.
That's a fact. I feel that for sure. Like astrology helped me understand energy and the energies that others possess, so we can have more understanding for each other instead of judging
That's
and things like, yeah, literally understand each other and connect with each other, and love thy neighbor, like you're saying, really have love and understanding for each other through astrology. And I'm so grateful for it.
It also helps us to emotionally mature, because when we look at aspects of ourselves and we're in an environment that's conducive for growth, our reflection can see those aspects just as we see them, to confirm within us the things that we need to work on.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. I love it.
Yeah, so it's an
Okay.
amazing ancient thing that, I mean, we don't know the depths of how astrology was used to build villages, to build empires. We don't know the depth because we've lost a lot of history. But I can see how my empathy has grown. You know how when you're younger and less mature, you see things only from your perspective? Astrology makes you stop and think. You may still have certain thoughts because of your
You cutting out. You cutting out. The last thing I heard is that you have certain thoughts.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, we may have certain thoughts based off of our astrological energies. That's just us. But the difference between us and the world, using astrology as a tool, it helps us be able to still reference the fact that we have these energies and these thoughts, but have the emotional maturity, the ability to choose. Just like the Bible says, we have life and death put before us. Astrology puts life and death before us and says, do you want to grow? Or do you want to be stagnant? Or do you want to revert to things that are really, really putting you in your lower self?
Right. And I love
Yeah. It's an amazing tool. And for those who may not be used to astrology, it may be coming from the aspect of it's just horoscopes to read the future. No, it's absolutely not. Now, an aspect of it will tell you, excuse me, on my GPS, aspects of it will tell you certain things about yourself and how your energies play out during certain planetary alignments. Now, these have been tracked for thousands of years. These are patterns that have been tracked for thousands of years. There's a mathematical and science to it that makes it stand and makes it accurate if we just take the time and the detail to really be interested in knowing ourselves on a more in-depth level.
That's a fact. Welcome in, Ginger.
Yeah, so welcome everybody. I'm ready. I'm excited. Although I'm driving, I'm present. I couldn't miss it. I just couldn't.
Oh, that's a fact. Actually, it says, see your child's astrological purpose or soul purpose and gifts along with their reincarnation karma. Um, Alex, yes, and you can always come up and be on mute and then come in whenever you can. And it just helps you have so much more understanding for self. And I know, like, I believe ancient people used it for many different, reasons, as far as for events that's happening to be able to, reproduce in a certain way. um and I also believe that, how we study astrology now through the Western system and other types of astrology, there's like a certain point in history that people were able to, they didn't have to look at the books. They was able to look at,
Mm-hmm.
stars or the, whatever, and really like understand it, or maybe even see deeper than the stars and stuff. Like possibly even just look at the person and see when they come out the womb, even which kind of energies this person have, or feel the environment. But I know it's way deeper, and I've always asked, the universe to show me that too. Like, what is, the deeper, like something, let me go deeper in astrology.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
And one
Sister.
one thing, peace, Lord Alex, peace. One thing that I have noticed that we must find a healthy balance. Even with astrology, it can become toxic in the wrong hands. Just like the Bible, people can utilize it to do more harm than healing. So that's why I'm thankful for this community that you formed and the type of energies that are coming together, because the intent is to grow in a pure fashion. Some people just want people to be around them so they can just judge them and not really work on their individual journey. And it's so much more than that. Now, you will see other people's things and have moments where it's possible to be like, yeah, I can see that astrological energy playing out. Don't do it in the moment of a heated moment, because that's going to cause a problem. But like, we can see that in each other. But
Yeah.
I lost my train of thought, sister. I was a
Yeah.
car just
No,
distracted me.
you're right. People can use it in a way where they're just only focused on a negative thing, or misinterpreting it too. Like sometimes if somebody like, oh, this aspect is because of that, but what's the solution? We always got to look at the solutions for it. So you can't like deem somebody just because they have a certain aspect as they're always going to be in a low vibrational form of that aspect. We have to show love them, understand them, and teach, and maybe give another perspective to how to utilize that energy in a better way. But some people will be like, oh, you have that aspect, so you're just, that's why, and this is it. And, it's just like solutions is more what we would come for or come
Can I
to them.
chime in on that specific topic? I think that sometimes we also have to account that life experiences are supposed to teach us things, right? So we have these aspects and they bring in certain life experiences. You don't know what part a person has been in their journey. Some people go through a lot of their healing and growing through their more debilitating aspects in their younger life. Some people, the shit don't hit the fan until they get older. So it does goes into discernment, and I'm really not trying to judge people. Really, like you said, like love is understanding, taking the time to step back. And when we get into astrology, having the ability to even be fluid, because we could read these things and get stuck in a mind frame of like, this says this, that, and the third, when life isn't the interpretation of one. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we looking online and we're seeing certain situations, but these are applying to life, so it's way, way deeper than a surface level conversation, if that makes sense.
Yes, it definitely goes deeper. You can come up, master, and teach if you want to, but I definitely agree with it going within. And yeah, it's like different people on, yeah, it's definitely having more love and understanding because everybody's on their journey in different ways. So you can't say just because, you know, this aspect, you know, that they're that, but they could have overcame that and it could be something different. And we have to really study ourselves and know
And there's
ourselves.
there's polarity to all of the signs. Like we can, like for an example, I know a lot of people associate a lot of negative energy to the eighth house, Scorpio energy, you know, that sign. But on there's extremes that can be negative, possessive, dark, but on the other end, there's a lot of transformative, spiritual, passionate energy. So like understanding, like even in what we might perceive as something negative, that there's always a positive because nothing is singular. Like we have to definitely go into it with that mindset.
Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
Hello, Master. How are you, King?
Good. How
Peace.
y'all doing?
Awesome. How about yourself?
Oh, what happened? She dropped off? Good.
Coming back.
Yeah, I normally like to play the cut or whatever, but it's interesting. You know, you're kind of interesting when you talk about some things. It looks like today it might be one of those days. And it looks like I
Ooh.
might have quit it kind of early. So I'm kind of happy about that. I might have got in here before like a lot of time passed because normally I catch a lot of back end of things.
Yeah, we just started.
Yeah. So I was just saying, like with the Astro, I wasn't talking about like tarot cards and stuff. I was saying Astro as in like the stars in the sky and outer space. Because I look at it as Astro and Geo. You know, Geo is the Earth, Astro supposedly outer space. It's crazy because um as without, as within, as above, as below. It's so many connections that we don't even take the time to look at. Do you know how much percent uh water is in our brain?
I never looked.
Okay, so they say it's 75% water in your like in your brain. They say the rest of your body is about 73% water on its own. So the brain is 75, the body as a whole is 73. But we know all this, and then come to find out, do you know how much water that the earth is covered by?
I never was able to go around the earth to see for sure, but I know, you know, the water's here. And
Okay,
I can
so
imagine
you can imagine what?
there's a lot. You know, people dig wells and stuff, and if you can dig a well in your yard and then go down and touch water, then I'm thinking that we're on water. That's it's
Yeah.
just I would just be able to use my logic, but I don't really know.
So what they say is that the earth is made up of 71% water. Now, I'm looking at the brain at 75, I'm looking at the body at 73, and I'm looking at the earth at 71. I'm looking at logic. I'm saying as above, as below, as within, as without. So to me, if the earth is 71%, then the earth is dehydrated. If the earth is dehydrated, we're dehydrated. So I'm looking at all those numbers and I'm coming out and saying our brain is made up of 71% water right now. Our body is 71% water as well, just like the earth. That's how I look at things, you know?
I'm not gonna lie to you, I'm pretty dumb, and that trying to kind of hurt my brain a little bit. If you could just kind of break that down a little bit.
I
Well,
don't
brother,
know. What part do you need broken down? The percentages
Hold
of
on.
water?
What you say,
Hmm?
Alex?
I was about to say I'm not even trying to disrespectful, and I definitely appreciate the topic that you're trying to illustrate. But we were talking about astrology. So
Yeah.
would you like to join that conversation?
Yeah, I was just making sure that because the astrology you're all talking about is what, tarot cards and stuff?
No, it's
No,
not.
we're
Oh shit.
talking about the study of like astronomy, the study of the stars. That's literally what astrology is. It
Right. So
correlates.
that's kind of what had brought me back to Earth because when you know about outer space, you know about geo, astro, geo, inner, out, you know about all that, you know.
Right. So we were
That's
talking about
kind of what brought me down there. But
we were talking about the relationship between the stars, the planets, and us individually. So that would be a so above, as above, so below type of situation. But we're just
yeah,
talking about it in terms of our personalities, our personal experiences, and how we connect with each other as people. If that makes sense.
Yeah, that's
okay.
that the water, because there is something in astrology. It's like water signs.
Yes.
It's more emotional.
Yeah, I'm a
It's like
Scorpio.
growing and things like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
You're a
right.
water sign.
So I always
Hey,
thought you was
listen,
gonna the water on
I'm sorry
Earth
to
or
interrupt you, host. Okay, go ahead. Yep, I'm sorry.
energy water.
Hmm.
I mean,
I'm
I
a,
could have
can
made
you
a
guys
connection
explain
between
my
that.
astrology? I'm on October 31st, Scorpio. So I just want to make sure that I'm on the up and up and whatever. So
You would have to, so what you would do is go to, I like justastrology.com just to get my chart. So if you go to justastrology.com and then you put in your information and then it will come up and you'll see what sign you are. So you're a Scorpio and then what
You're
yeah,
house.
Scorpio sun.
I was born on Halloween.
Okay.
Yes.
That's it.
So with astrology, yeah, we was talking about that, but what we're gonna do is we have like we have a community. It's called Honor Thyself Community, right? If you go
Gotcha.
to the site, you'll be able to get involved. But in our
Okay.
community, we're doing a community circle today. So that means we're coming
Mm.
together with the people in our community and we're going over astrology. If anybody has certain tips or certain things that they can bring to the table about astrology, we want to hear it. Other than that, today we're going to be looking at some of the people in our community. We're going to look at our charts and we're going to see about like just get to know each other. That's what we're doing tonight.
I'm serious.
You're serious about
Mhm.
what?
No, I'm serious.
Okay.
Since we're
Well,
talking, since we're talking about like astrology, we're talking about the stars and the maps and stuff like that. Yeah, I come from Sirius.
Yeah.
Oh, he's talking about the star series. Okay,
I,
got you. I thought you were saying you're serious,
I
like.
never heard that.
Yeah. I'm Sirius B.
From 70s or something.
All right. So you would have to go there and then let me know your actual house.
Okay.
Alex, do you know your house? Your son house? In
Yes, my son in tropical astrology is Aquarius, fourth house.
I'm Scorpio, so that's in the 8th house.
Oh yeah?
Not necessarily. Not
No,
necessarily.
I really am. I just looked it up. I'm in the 8th house.
Okay.
So I'm a double Scorpio.
Wow,
Yes.
that's interesting.
So
So
Honor, may I
My
ask,
moon
what
is in
is your
Aries.
is that because I know Elisa and I was talking about verdict. Is tropical western and is the same thing?
tropical and western is the same?
Okay. Okay, that's what's up. So you're Aquarius in the 4th house. I'm a Leo in the 11th house. And a verdict, I seen some Cancer energy for me. So that was interesting. But
In the Vedic,
what
I'm a Capricorn sign.
you said what?
In the Vedic, I'm a Capricorn sign, which is interesting.
Oh yeah, Capricorn.
I'm not sure how.
So we're gonna, what is it? Astrology, sun and moon combination, right? And we're gonna do.
So do you find that there's a significance in someone's personality when you're looking at the ascendant sign, or do you not really look at the ascendant so much?
Yeah, I like to look at the ascendant. What's your ascendant?
My ascendant is Scorpio. So I was saying,
Okay.
like, what was, not everyone looks at the ascendant the same way. I was just, I guess, looking at, like, asking you how you used it, because I know you were going to put an emphasis on the sun and the moon.
Mm-hmm. Well, ascendant, I feel like, well, from what I've been taught is like how you come off. Also, the opposite of that would be the opposite of your ascendant would be like the type of like person you're interested in as far as relationship, like what's best for you in a relationship.
Okay.
So I would probably look at that too, just to see like just that type of like your vibe when it comes to connection, because that's another thing in the community, just building divine connection. So looking at that, but yeah, it just pretty much just like how you come off when you first meet somebody, or your I think it's important. I think the ascendant is important. Like I'm a Libra ascendant, so with that Libra bringing people together and things like that is something that I do a lot, and that I feel like I do connect with the ascendant a lot. How do you feel like? Do you feel like you connect with your ascendant? The phone went low.
Oh, my bad. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
I was saying I definitely connect heavily with my ascendant, and I have most of my planets in either my first house or my fourth house. So both of those, my ascendant and my sun sign, play a big part in my personality, I think.
Trying to write instances down. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about the Libra ascendant. I'm like, yeah, I mean, ascendants would be. I mean, they say it's how you come off to other people, but
Yeah,
it's more.
so what I understand, it has a lot to do with like your physical body. It has a lot to do like when like yeah, that's how they explain it. When you walk in a room, like the energy that you exude without someone necessarily getting to know you.
Mm-hmm. I can see that for me.
I definitely see the Libra in you.
Yeah, I can see that. So I mean, we can look into ascendants too, because that is like the ascendant, sun, and moon is usually a
Yeah,
good.
that's the big three. That's the big three.
So how do you relate to your ascendant? Like, what energy do you see with when it?
I have Scorpio ascendant. I have Jupiter, Pluto, and North Node all in Scorpio in the first house. So I think that because I'm still trying to understand a lot
Hold
of
on, it went up.
I don't know what's going on. I said once I did start to dive into it and I saw how much Scorpio energy I had, it made a lot of sense because I think that I have a very intense personality and I attract a lot of Scorpios. Like it's a thing. And it's been since I was a child. I think it's because I'm not a surface level person. So I can definitely see that. Whereas like, you know, I'm Aquarius sun, I can make friends, I can be social, but that Scorpio part is where it's like I never let people in. I was not too many people that really get to the depth and the I was reading the comment. Yeah, I think so. Because, you know, I'm pretty agile. But understanding that like I have a lot of intensity. I have a type of personality, especially with that Pluto and Scorpio. People either when they first meet me, either really fuck with me heavy or they cannot stand me. And that has been a
I'll be
blessing and a
back.
curse over my life. So I definitely relate to it and I definitely think that it's accurate when it comes to who I am.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it too. Like I really feel that as well. But I'm looking at like what part, like why is because I see a lot of the Libra in me as well. I
So
attract.
the way that Vedic astrology kind of explained it, that like kind of sounded it kind of sounded like it was right to me when it talked about the ascendant, the moon, and the sun, right? Because that's kind of like what we first look at. The ascendant is your body. So that is the vessel in which you go about your soul's mission. Your sun sign is your soul's mission, like that's your soul, that's what you're here to do. And then your moon sign is your emotions. So you need those three to be in tune with each other to accomplish the goal that you're here on the planet to do type situation.
Okay, so you're okay. That makes sense. So the ascendant is how you go about your purpose, and then the sun is your.
Ascendant is the vessel that you were given. So basically it's like when I'm gonna just use for an example, when I came into the world, I was like, this is the vessel that I'm going to need to get my soul mission done. And that is perceived in like a very scorpionic way. The vessel is. So like even like the way that I dress, tattoos and piercings, and I like almost dress like a anime character out the Matrix on like my good days type situation. It's reflected in like the way that I present myself. Like, I drive a F-250, a big truck. Like I try, even though I'm a small woman, I portray a certain amount of power when I'm out. So that's like the vessel. And then the soul mission would be for me an Aquarius. I'm humanitarian and my soul mission. And then your emotions are it's almost like your day-to-day struggles. That's your moon sign. Because the moon changes with the tide. So your moon sign, how you deal with the moon and the changes of everyday life is reflected in your moon sign.
I like that. Ascendant is your approach and presentation. I
Your
like
sun
it.
ego, way of
Yes,
survival.
Alex and I do both. We both have the pattern app. Jana, how do you okay, right at the bottom, I'm gonna say join. And if you press you'll be able to come up. I was looking at verdict real quick. So my ascendant in verdict is Virgo. And my sun is Cancer.
You say your sun is Cancer? Interesting.
Yeah, in Virgo. Peace, Empress. Peace, Jana.
Peace, Jenna. How are you?
I think your phone is a little low. And my moon will be in Leo, so it's in the same one.
Okay.
But it was interesting that it said the sun was a Cancer.
I definitely see the wisdom in both of them. I wouldn't forsake tropical astrology for Vedic, but there's a lot of information on that Vedic side that I'm just tapping into that I feel like, but it's like, it's so much. But astrology is something that's like never ending. You're always learning something.
That's a fact.
What house is in?
Mine is both in Aquarius.
And no, what house is your moon
in? 11th.
Oh, okay.
Okay, sun in Scorpio, moon in Aquarius. It says, let me see. There was one that was really, okay, let's try this one. It said moon in Aquarius can sense aliens. Well, we both got moon in Aquarius then. But how I was explained, like the houses and the signs was like your sign is like your personality, and you go into a house full of the energy of the house. So it'd be like a Leo personality going into a house full of Aquarius energy. So how would that combine? Let me see. Okay, sun is Scorpio, Aquarius moon. It says, you know how to adjust to almost any situation, and you are smooth. Your Aquarius moon gives you an unusual and explored perspective and strong fascination with science and society. You have an obliging presence. Hold on, I don't know what that is. You know what that is? Maybe I'm pronouncing obliging. Willing to do a service or kindness, helpful. You're like a helpful kindness presence and a very strong will, like a typical Scorpio. Your imagination and insights are strange and a bit way out for most individuals because you are generally about 10 or 12 years in advance of your time. You have a non-traditional comprehension of people, which assists you in materialistic prophecy. You know how to bond and pull strings because you are basically astute, charming. Hold on. I'm having to look up what some of these words mean. Having or showing an ability to accurately assess situations. Hold on. Having or showing an ability to accurately assess situations or people and turn this to one's advantage. Okay, people that you are drawn to are somewhat far out. Is this sounding good, or have you ever did a sun and moon combination? Okay, Alex, do you have a hard time making strong emotional attachments with people, and somewhat you feel detached?
You got my moon sign. That's Aquarius and Sagittarius moon.
No, this is a Scorpio sun, Aquarius moon. Let me go to another.
That's not my moon is in Aquarius. Or my moon isn't Scorpio. My moon is Sagittarius.
Okay, you're
My
Aquarius.
is Scorpio.
That's what I'm like. Okay. Aquarius sun, Scorpio moon. Now, what's your houses?
So moon in second house, sun in fourth house.
Okay. Interesting. I attract a lot of Scorpio moon.
No,
Peace, everyone. My bad if I didn't see people. Let me see. Let me just put it out, and if somebody come up crazy, we just going to kick them. Okay.
In Vedic astrology, I have a Scorpio moon now.
Okay. So in both you have Scorpio moon.
No, I have Sagittarius moon.
No.
Sagittarius moon. Yeah.
In
No
Vedic
sure.
Sagittarius
No,
moon.
no. Hold on. So in tropical, on regular astrology, I am an Aquarius sun, Sagittarius moon. In Vedic astrology, I'm a Capricorn sun, Scorpio moon.
What's the vibe?
So in tropical Sagittarius moon.
Okay.
Sorry for the confusion.
No, that's fine. Peace, welcome in.
What's going on?
Okay. Let me see. I just see today we're doing a community circle, and what we're going over is astrology. So we're getting to know each other through astrology or astrological energy.
What's that right there?
In essence, you had told me a Cancer in 12th house. What's your moon, essence? Cancer in 12th house, and your moon's in the first house. Is it a Cancer too? Yes, Jana, are you here?
It's I have my sun is in Cancer 12th house. My moon is in Leo first house, and my rising, my ascendant is in Cancer first house. So I got strong Cancer energy.
Yeah. My sister's a Cancer too. I wanted you to meet her the other day.
Oh, next time.
Yeah, next time. Now I want to make sure I got okay. And Lord Alex, you're a Scorpio rising, right?
Yes.
Okay. Jana, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Welcome.
Awesome. Blessings. Yes, I always a pleasure sharing the space with one.
Yes. So, do
Peace.
you know astrology?
I'm just starting. Honestly, it's always been a taboo kind of thing here in islands where we're from. So I'm just beginning. I know that I'm a Scorpio. I know my moon, like I think it is. What was it? I have it written down, but I'm still trying to even understand, especially the degrees of the houses.
Do you know what time you were born?
Yeah, 7:30 p.m.
Okay, we're just gonna do it real quick. 7:30 p.m. And then what's the date of birth?
24 October 1997.
95.
97.
Peace, God, buddy.
Hey,
97.
Peace, God body.
hi.
Welcome in.
Hi, buddy. How are you?
Oh, I'm so happy that I'm off work and it's the weekend, and I'm here with
Well,
you guys.
gratitude. Today we're having a community circle, and it's about astrology. Jana, what was the location you were born?
So the location where you would put would be Road Town, Tortola, British Virgin Islands.
Okay. Can you spell it?
ROAD, as in road.
Oh, I found it.
Awesome.
While you
Okay.
getting that, I have a question for the panel.
Okay.
What do you guys feel is the one of the top things in our astrology that we need to look into in order to be able to consistently keep relationships with each other? Is there one particular aspect to, because it can't be
No.
all, because we can't learn all at the same time, but it has to be something or a
I
couple
would
things.
say I would say predominantly looking at where um your house is with astrology, like not astrology, with the 11th house and the 7th house. I think that those traditionally tell you a lot about how you deal with groups and also somewhat romantic relationships, but the Libra house and the house of Venus can go into friendships and deep connections as well. So I don't know.
But that also depends on where it's placed in your planetary alignment, right? Because
Right. So I guess
you can't just say,
the ruling planets of those houses. So I guess the ruling aspects of Libra, Aquarius, maybe even Cancer, but I would more so think like Libra and Aquarius. Like wherever those placements are prominent, you would see like connections, I would think.
Okay. 1 second, you guys. Let me, because you know
Okay.
the last time when we did the self-care, um, the recording was like 4 hours, and it took me days to upload. So okay, I just started it over. Peace, welcome.
Hi,
So
peace,
Jenna.
peace.
that's an amazing question too,
It was-
Essence. Yeah, that's a
So
good
to
question.
go more in depth of what I mean, like, I don't know if anyone knows which planetary alignment shows how we converse, because I know that our moon sign shows our emotions, how we react and respond, but how we articulate ourselves in a regular conversation. Do you notice that sometimes people can articulate themselves in a certain way when they're just expressing themselves, that they don't understand that they're being offensive, or and what is it in the planetary alignments do we look for, the things that we do that are maybe seem natural and normal to us, but are generally offensive things that causes to burn bridges, or it's the pathway to burn bridges.
I think a big part of how we communicate would be our mercurial aspects, but at the same time,
Mercury.
yes, that would be our mercurial
Okay.
aspects. But we also have to take into account that everybody has their way of communication. for a reason. But then we can also go more in depth and like, why is this person not aware of certain circles? Because there's a time and place for everything, right? So you have the way that you communicate.
Right.
It's supposed to facilitate some type of information for some type of circle. So it's not so much saying that like, oh, this person articulates or communicates in an offensive way, maybe understanding the reason for that energy and maybe having them understanding the power in certain settings or where it's not needed in certain areas of their life, because we can't say that these things that we were given that we need to compartmentalize them because we don't understand them and make them negative. Does that make sense?
That's a fact. I definitely get that part and that aspect. So the way I'm comprehending what you're saying, sister, is like, okay, so if we look into our Mercury placements and our individual placements and we study those placements of ourselves to understand it, will that help us to be able to deal with each other better?
Yeah, so Mercury is generally how we communicate. But have you noticed even like
Okay.
in school, there were cliques where people can understand each other, like their Mercury's vibe more than someone else's. Like, you know what I'm saying? People take on their friend groups based on a lot of different factors. And I think that maybe, let me rephrase this. Are you asking it based on like us attacking certain or looking at certain aspects directly so that we can know what potentially could be conflicts for us as women coming together? I'm sorry, that might have been a little long-winded, but
No, that wasn't long-winded. I like the way you articulate yourself, actually. To a certain degree, basically, it's more like a precautionary method to be able to avoid things that are avoidable. Not to say anyone needs to play down their natural energies. Of course, they're going to play out, but for us to be more aware of each other's energy. So if I'm in a setting with you, lovely ladies, I will be studying not only I know my own Mercury placements and how it plays out and how it bounces off of the different other signs, but also be familiar with my sisters. Like, okay, I know her Mercury is in Aquarius, 11th house, or whatever. It plays out like this, so I know how to navigate in a healthy, balanced kind of way. Doesn't necessarily mean that everything is always going to be peachy keen, but we have an understanding, right? When we
yes,
know,
yes. So I think
yeah.
for that, I definitely would look at Mercury, the planet Mercury, the mercurial aspects, and then what's going on with our third house.
So where is everybody's Mercury
Hey,
planetary alignment and
let me say
how?
this. Let me say this first. Whenever we're coming together, if somebody is being offensive or if somebody is being distracted or distracting or anything like that, and they equate that to their Mercury or their astrology in any way, that's any placement that's in astrology, they may be using that energy in a certain way. We have to be able to use our energy in a healthy way.
To, like you said, use these energies to understand these lessons and evolve. We're never supposed to get stuck, and we're never supposed to make excuses for energy that's not serving us based
Fact.
on our astrology.
Yes. And with Jana, your sun is Scorpio in the 6th house. Your moon is Leo in the 4th house, and your rising is Gemini.
What's her Mercury?
Okay, Mercury is Scorpio in the 6th house. So we both got
Mm.
none 6th house. Let me see. Okay, where's everybody else's Mercury?
How are you?
Hello.
Hello.
Are you into astrology?
What?
This is an astrology panel. Are you into astrology?
Yes.
Okay, what's your sun and moon?
I don't speak English.
Okay. Well, we're just gonna have to ask you to just, listen down in the comments then. And thank you for coming up.
Muchas gracias. I don't
Let's
know.
see. Okay. Welcome in.
What's up?
Are you into astrology?
A little bit, just getting into it.
Essence, your Mercury is in Cancer in the first house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I'm
I'd
a
like
Leo.
to.
An emotional communicator.
I am, and this is why I had to learn how to breathe and articulate myself. It is imperative to my emotional stability to thoroughly communicate and be in situations where people don't say, "Oh, fuck this, I'm walking away." I need to talk about it. If you need a minute, I'll respect that, but even that, please tell me, I just need a minute. We'll revisit this later. But if you just leave me hanging, I go crazy because I feel that there's no reason for you to say you care about me, you love me, we're family, and you're walking away from something that is not being left in a balanced state.
Hmm. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
Interesting.
genuinely how I feel.
does
Hmm?
that hurt your feelings when someone does that? Like
It,
it makes you.
it hurts my feelings when people walk away angry and unresolved. I need us to work on a solution. Even if we need to take a moment to breathe, if we just went off on each other because we both went outside of balance, okay, that doesn't need to last a long time because if we love each other, that's not the direction we're growing in. We can both be able to say, I was wrong. Let's look for a solution now. But if I deal with someone who says things like, well, my astrological programming says this is how I am, so this is just what it is, or just walks away, that hurts me. It hurts. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's really
hiding,
hurt.
hiding, hiding behind astrology. Yeah, that's really important.
Hmm.
Yeah, accountability is key because at every level of how, one thing you'll love about me is at every level, I want to talk about it. It's so refreshing, and that's because I want people to be like that with me. No matter where you at, please, can we talk?
Yeah, that's a little bit
What
of the first house too. Is more like you want to face it. You want to get into it because some
Yeah, because
cancers
I am
can run
hurt.
from that.
I am thinking about my feelings in the moment. I'm hurt. And regardless of you being right or I'm being right, it doesn't matter who's right and who's wrong. We don't have a solution. And so I feel like that first house energy is like, don't leave me hurt. I don't deserve to be
Yeah,
left hurt. Hello, take care of my emotions because I'm trying to take care of yours too. That's what I go into.
yeah. That's a balanced kind of combination. I would see some balance in that because some cancers, like if you have cancer in the eighth house, then you might be even more of emotions, and you might not want to, or you might talk, be unstable or something. But at the end of the day, any placement you can use it in a healthy way. So
That's why
I
we
that's
like how you
study
word that.
ourselves. I used
I
to be
like how
more
you word that.
erratic, more emotionally unstable. I would start crying instead of communicating. I used to until I started studying that and I saw those patterns. And that's why I do not like people to use their current astrological reading that is not serving them to say, well, I'm just like this. What? We're using this to grow, like our sister said, Lord Alex. It's not to be something that holds us back, keeps us complacent. It's a tool to help us elevate.
right. Jana, was you saying something?
I was just I'm here saying, wow, what the word sound that the I produced is on point because I like when it comes to emotions, where I'm from too, we grew up guiding our emotions a lot. And we don't really practice proper communication, but once astrological alignment still pushes through. I like when my two daughters, one is in Pisces moon, one is in Cancer moon, and they be emotional, like really emotional, but the simplest of things, and I'm just here like, what do I do? What the heck?
I
Learning
don't.
about one's
I want to
house
say this
placements look really important.
when you're dealing with people that have more water in their chart, more emotions, they really need to learn the art of communication because the emotions will overtake the logic to the point of no return. And instead of like just saying, you're emotional, we can learn how to say, okay, your placement is here. This is why you're reacting and responding like this. This is what you need to do before you get to your tipping point. Watch your patterns. Be conscious of your patterns. Oh, you see, you always get hurt with this particular thing, then learn how to navigate a different way for a better result. Because you can't stay stuck in, oh, I'm just a Cancer, I'm emotional. I'm a water sign, I'm just emotional.
Right. And then you have Jana, you have Leo in the 4th house. So you have the fire energy to be able to bring some type of, balance, logic to it. But then also the 4th house is Cancer. So you have that motherly type energy, the Mercury. So you'll be able to definitely talk to them and be able to guide them in a way that they can utilize that, that water energy in a more healthy manner.
Yes, I definitely agree on that.
So Anna, do you I know you have sons. Your sons are beautiful. Do you use their charts and helping you understand them? Have you dived into their charts?
Yes, I do. I use their chart. And I also just look at their patterns and things. But yeah, I use their chart. Like I have a Pisces and a Aquarius. So I do sometimes. But usually I'm looking at just their energy and what they're going through right now.
Yes, I got you.
Through it, and then like just give them. Right now I've just been really focusing on giving them like tools in life, like men. And I haven't met my husband yet to be able to be that type of, for them to look up to, or to talk into the masculine or a man. I've just been trying to like show them different like things online and different things like that for them to learn like morals, principles, how to stand up for them, like for not always just stand up for themselves, because they're pretty good at that, but just like if they do something wrong, stand on it. Like, I did this wrong, like find a solution to it, instead of being like trying to move around it, and just be upfront with things and stuff like that. Like just tools in life for them to be able to utilize to make them better, humans, men, growing men. And not only that, they're older, so they're in the stage where they're like, tapping into the girls and stuff like that, which really scared me a couple weeks ago. And I'm just like, and I no, for real,
Oh,
for real.
your son's gonna be out there with their fine self. They gonna be out there so fine, girl.
They are beautiful.
She got some beautiful sons.
Beautiful.
I'm grateful.
The universe bless you, mama. Stay blessed you.
So I just want them to make the right decisions. Like, I could literally be a grandmother in a couple years, and I want them to make the right decisions. So I just been trying to pour that knowledge into them. And then I realized after my breakdown, like a couple weeks ago, it's just like, I trust in the universe. Everything is going to be in divine timing. And all I have to do is have faith in them, and then and give them the tools that they need.
Yes,
they're gonna
and that's the beautiful thing, like having a mother that's not necessarily trying to control who they are, and understanding that you are you're here to help guide them, but it's their right, you know what I'm saying? But you're giving them what you feel that they need to navigate. And that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Another beautiful thing about being a mother that is studying astrology is that you have this intuition that you naturally know a lot of their astrological placements. So if you see it on pattern or whatever resource you use, you'll be like, yeah, there it is. I already knew that, but now I can show you in writing, like this is where it's at in your planetary alignment, and you can study it on your own more in depth.
Right. Yes. Oh, Brandon, I was just about to ask you something. But that's a fact. That's a fact. So I just be like into them. When I first started getting into astrology, looking into their charts, my this was like, has that emotional factor as of the Pisces, but also like a leader, and wants to come off like a little hard, but still emotional. So I want them to tap in and understand that part of them. So don't try to hide it or suppress it to act like it's not there. And then my middle son, he has like my youngest son is a Sagittarius, but my middle son, the Aquarius, has like certain aspects that brings up like I would say like, well, it said it in astrology, like anger issues. So just knowing how to handle that type of energy in a way that doesn't like hold you back or have you making decisions out of anger or emotion. And stuff like
What is his Mars?
the Aquarius.
Yeah, the one with the anger issues.
I think it's an Aquarius too.
My Mars is
I'm
in
not.
Aquarius.
I'm actually glad that you're mentioning even Aquarius, especially with male Aquarius, because that's something I noticed with them. They have a temperament and a mouth.
Yes, and it goes deeper, you know. It just goes deeper. There's aspects and things like that. So the Aquarius, you know, they're about the collective groups. They're here to, you know, make change in the world as well.
But they're kind of funny too, because although they have that kind of temperament, they're the most fun, go-getting, bounce right back type of people.
Yeah, my oldest son is an Aquarius. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No problem. But I was just saying, 1 minute they like hot the man, and then the next minute they like, who is the people me want to know what's going on.
Is the bathroom up here? Yeah, hold on, baby. Let me move all my stuff.
Oh no, his Mercury is in Aries.
It's interesting. That means he like communicates with a lot of fire. That Mars energy and how he communicates.
Okay. Let's see. Anger itself isn't wrong. Aggression issues. Yeah, it's just how to utilize that type of energy. Being a. I don't think it's any of the energy is just wrong. I feel like it's just, you know, how we use it.
They just got to be stimulated in the right.
And I would say even like I'm an Aquarius, but I can imagine being a man because I have an Aquarius son that, like, you know, being different and having certain quirks and uniqueness about you, being a man and having to deal with other men, you might have to, you know, exert yourself in a certain way because you are different or not normal and defending, you know, artistic stuff about yourself. Because I see that in my son a lot. His conflicts come from him defending kind of who he is because people might not understand him.
Mm-hmm.
Y'all get it together. Go.
Hold on. And that's what I see in him too. And then that's what I see in a lot of people. You know, and that's something I had to overcome in myself. Like, people feel like you have to defend yourself and who you are, or demand respect from other people. But I really just having respect for yourself enough to not deal with people that don't respect you.
That's a fact. And that takes time.
I have a question for the panel.
Yes.
What in your astrological programming have you learned now that you didn't know the majority of your adolescence, like about yourself? I could say me, I was shy growing up and I had to evaluate the reason why. And astrology helped me evaluate the reason why.
Okay. And what was that for you? If you don't mind sharing.
The reason why I was shy is because I was in a society that was telling me everything that I was something to be ashamed of. I looked like the people that were coming from slavery, enslavement. My background was from Mississippi. All those things made me feel like, okay, I should just be quiet so no one says anything. So I had to learn myself and love myself through that.
Okay, I guess
Can you
I'll
repeat
go.
the question again?
Go ahead. She said, can you repeat the question again?
The question is what have you, knowing astrology now, what have you overcome that you dealt with in your adolescent years? Or should I rephrase my grammar, how I put my sentences together be kind of funny though.
For me, in my adolescent years, it was always self-doubt. For my sign, which is supposed to be like real confident, growing up, it was like I had a lot of doubts about self and I didn't trust my intuition like that. And it was only when I started listening to self and actually implementing what the downloads were telling me is when I started growing more trust with self and realized, oh, I got this, man.
What created the self doubt?
Well, down here, the society here is really, it's really broken, honestly. A lot of people down here don't know themselves to begin with. So when you're surrounded by people like that, I mean, they basically have like a bully mentality down here. A crab,
Mm.
pull crab in a bucket type vibe. So when you're surrounded by that, it poses a lot of challenges, especially when your media is pushing a lot of what they think you should be like Disney Plus, and I mean they don't filter certain things down here, so you pretty much see a lot from a young age. They don't censor the internet down here. They don't have protective ways of making sure children don't be overly exposed. So you kind of grow up doubting, well, is this right? Is that right? This person said this. Should I listen to that? But my gut says this, and they're telling me my gut is wrong. So you get a lot of that down here. So the challenge to
Mm.
be like yourself, authentic, it's really high. It's like a real high challenge here.
So
Yeah,
it's
that's
like a
interesting.
fight. It's like a fight to stand with your intuition instead of standing
Yeah,
against your intuition. Hmm.
It
and
almost seems like you
one
have to
one
go
thing
into
I
a
have
solid.
learned, what were you saying, Goddess?
No, 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 go. Continue.
No, I was gonna say that instead of fighting, it's actually more like you just want to portray love because I grew up fighting and trying the same thing what you guys were saying. You're trying to prove yourself now that you like especially know yourself and ain't even really
Hmm.
you gotta be fighting. Just gotta portray
Right.
love. Once you start portraying love, because I start realize I mean everybody here is going through their own personal issues and projecting it onto others and that creates their reality as well. And like energy attracts like energy. So if you got something you're dealing with, most likely you're gonna attract that energy towards you and it's gonna cause you to self-reflect more like, okay, what can I attune with more?
That's true. It's amazing what we align ourselves with without we do it subconsciously. And most especially when we didn't know ourselves well enough, we didn't pay attention to our patterns well enough, the things that we voluntarily positioned ourselves to experience. But sometimes that experience is what's needed in order to grow.
That's a fact. I can say that they're the same thing as far as the intuition. It says in my chart that, when I was younger, well, when I came into the world, I was able to, really follow my intuition. And then, like, different things would happen where I would do that, and then it wouldn't be the results that I look for. And studying astrology helped me to understand that, that's still the right thing. And not getting the results is a part of me trying to, like, control the outcome. And the outcome is always working for me, and so understanding, following my intuition is the most important thing. So I had to get out of from being young, getting into using my logics more than my intuition. So, and now I'm more going back to just following my intuition, instead of trying to be calculative about how things will come out. Just trust in myself and follow that.
I feel like my intuition flows better with knowledge.
What
Like
do
there are certain things that I will think like is my intuition when really it's just confusing thoughts in my head. But like when once I got knowledge, it was just so much easier for me to determine like the flow of my intuition. Like it was a little bit chaotic. I don't think I could tell the difference between my intuition and my emotion. But with logic, I'm clearly able to see it, if that even makes sense.
She sleep. Yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
does. Um, it's just something about like the instincts and intuition. Like the intuition will guide you, and sometimes it don't always make, it wouldn't always be logical. Just be like, yeah, like that's something I need to do. You don't have to overthink it or anything like that. But yeah, I can say another thing that I have overcame. And I don't even think this is the question, but I would like to hear people, tell like what some things they have overcame, and that is the overthinking. Cause and we was talking about Mercury too. We didn't get to everybody's Mercury, but my Mercury is in Virgo in the 11th house. I have a lot of 11th house. I have and that's Aquarius. I have Sun, Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Jupiter in 11th house. And with the Virgo, sometimes it'll make me be over analytical, overthinking to and and that's and I have to balance it. So any placement you have, you just want to balance it out. Like you don't need to be overthinking, but I don't need to be not thinking. And sometimes I don't know, I don't have Gemini in my chart, but
What
I
do
feel
you
like
overthink about the most? What aspect? Like, oh, sorry. What aspect? Like, family, organization of business, organization of the family, or any other thing that comes to your mind. That's just what came off of the top of my head.
um I would say all of that. I don't do it like I used to because I found a balance. And that's what I was about to say. Like I mean, everybody has all the energies, but I feel like it's a Gemini type energy or something where I would, at one point in my life, I'm overthinking about everything to a point sometimes that I wouldn't take steps to get certain things done. I would be too in the thought process, and it came in with business. When I when I first started with my businesses, like I would just flow with things. I didn't overthink. I didn't have a business plan or nothing. And then I met someone that introduced, oh, you can do paperwork, you can have business. So I end up being into that, and to a point where sometimes, well, I would get certain things done up until like a point in my life where I was just all day, every day, just writing business plans and stuff and all the plans, but not executing. So yeah, it paid off because many of those things I still want to implement today. And I feel like there's a certain energy that has came over me recently that allows me to just flow and move forward in the things that I want to do. But at one point it was just overthinking to a point of not taking action. And then I went to, just trying to flow with everything. But now I'm coming to a balance to where I can think about it, not overly or to an extra extent, and then I can put it forth action. So it started with business though, like plans and things you want to do and stuff, and I'm just like, oh, I could do this and that, being very calculative, up to a point where it's like people say, oh, let go of the control of trying to control things. I think that was another part of the energy, trying to control the outcomes. I'm overthinking in order to control what's the outcome, but there's no need to do that when you have like faith in yourself and faith in the things that you're supposed to do.
When letting go in that aspect, um, have you been able to teach yourself where the boundary is? Like, I'm just overthinking, and no, this is outside of my principles, my foundational ways of the way things need to be for my happy, for my kingdom of heaven, for my bliss.
um yeah, it just gets to it, like when I feel myself overthinking, I would just consciously make the decision to stop. Like a lot of our stuff that's subconsciously programmed within us, where we do over and over and over again, so we just do it subconsciously. We have to, in the moment, consciously make a decision to stop, like eating or whatever. If you're eating certain things, then if you want to change any unhealthy pattern, you have to consciously put forth action to stop that. So what I do is, and when I catch myself overthinking, I will consciously stop and change to do something else, and I will let go, let God, so to speak. let it go.
What do you categorize a situation where you're dealing with your reflection and you're thinking a lot about a particular thing that has something to do with the both of you? There are certain moments you can just say I'm overthinking, and there's certain moments where what you're thinking is actually what needs to be, like it's not an opinion based on emotions or something. How do you
Yeah.
decipher between the I'm just overthinking and no, I need to stand my ground on this one?
So what I do is if there's certain things, what I do is first of all, do the inner work. So I self-reflect and make sure, like, look at myself. And then if I come to a certain understanding, you know, instead of overthinking, because at those points in what you're saying, I would overthink a lot to a point where it's just like kind of flowing with it. Like I don't know if I feel, and then I self-reflect a lot. So I point the finger at myself and be like, well, it's me. How can I fix it? And then I start to not even address that. Before I wouldn't even address certain things because I would just be like, well, I'm going to fix the part of me that I need to fix in the situation. But now I know that, yeah, I'm going to self-reflect to see what I can do. And then whatever conclusion or things, not even a conclusion, but whatever understanding I come to, then I was catch myself from overthinking, and I shouldn't be around anybody that I can't come to and just speak respectfully about what I'm thinking. And then we should be able to communicate and get a healthier perspective. Because if my perspective at that point is not a conclusion, it's not a set, it's a communication. So we would then have to come together and see, am I even, thinking of a situation in the best manner, or I have to understand you got to understand me. So it's this communication up to a point. So I'm not going to overthink like I used to a point where I don't even address it. But because that helps with building our community or building each other relationship. Like we need to address the things that's on our mind, so that's pretty much how I do it.
I feel like that goes back in time with how our Mercury placements play out. Is how we're able to communicate through that. So like if I'm dealing with someone, you said like if you're basically in a situation where you don't feel free to talk, then it's not healthy. So regardless of what it is that you're feeling, when you bring it to someone emotionally maturely and you're able to talk about it. The good thing about having people of like minds is that they're doing the same thing you're doing. They're self-reflecting. They're thinking in their heads on their part, what it is they contributed to something that's off balance. And then you guys are able to, like the Bible says, iron sharpeneth iron. You're able to put your heads together and look at the energies that are playing out, because these are just energies that are playing out. Evaluate the energies and come up with the solution, because the goal should always be a solution, and we should always have people in our environment who are desiring, before we even start the conversation, we're seeking a solution. We're not seeking to just start talking to see who's right and who's wrong.
Yes, exactly. And I'm excited to have that type of environment, like, and everybody just, when coming together, we have to all have like that understanding. Like there's certain things that we have to have understanding on how we do things so that we can make sure that what we're building lasts. If somebody does things a different way and we know that way is not really gonna help us, to sustain, or, somebody feels like, well, I'm coming to you and telling you, my thoughts on whatever situation, and then the other person may get like offended and, angry and stuff. We know that that's not the way to do it. You have to have understanding, and clarity, and then try to get a healthier perspective together. When you get offensive, that means, there's certain inner work, so I just want to make sure, yeah, there's certain ways that we do handle situations in our community to make sure we, have solutions and not more problems, because a lot of people will get
I just
offensive.
love
Like
that
yeah, we want to change. We want to be the best that we can be. So if somebody is coming and saying, what, this made me feel this way, or this is what I'm thinking about that, all we have to do is to communicate and see, like, how can we be better? We want to help each other. And I like how you said the iron sharpens iron.
facts.
You know,
Maybe
I also believe that.
I
Go ahead.
letting
yeah,
King change.
that is such a good, way to have a perspective on that as far as iron sharpening iron. But me myself, I get tired of the same situation that iron sharpens iron. In other words, that you're that difficult to move forward, to grow, to polish, to see things differently than what you do. That's I've been in multiple situations like that, and that I don't know if you guys have, but from what I've experienced, that is definitely a challenging position to be in all the time, to where the only way that this person can learn or this person can grow is through the ironing, sharpening, ironing process. Yeah. I,
So that's
and I definitely look forward to, man, being able to interact with others to where it doesn't necessarily have to be an ironing, sharpening iron situation. I'm done.
so in that instance, if you come together in a community and two people have a misunderstanding or a certain situation where there's a misunderstanding, they both do their reflection work, and then they're able to come to
Hmm.
a understanding within themselves of what they could have did better. There still should be a conversation, and in that conversation, that can sharpen each other still. If we don't have a conversation, then we
That's a
won't know
fact.
until it happens again.
I could kind of
Mm.
overstand
And my reflection can tell me some things that I'm not seeing within myself.
Yeah.
But has someone ever said something to you about your astrological energies and it instantly resonated? And when you went to go and look it up, you saw that that's what it is? That's another way to look at iron sharpening iron. So my perspective could be off, and my reflection can use logic to help balance out the way my thoughts are bouncing at that moment.
I could understand where the Brethren was coming from too, in terms
And
of
Johnny,
where he's feeling exhaustion. I
okay,
think what he would probably mean is like he's the iron and knives, knives are metallic as well. So it's almost as though he's the iron sharpening the knife type of vibes. And in that case, I think you need to
Mm,
um, align yourself with what does serve you, because if you feel that ain't for you, it means you have grown, you have evolved, you have changed, and you need to be in a higher alignment with those
fact.
who can sharpen you back as well, not just you always continuously sharpening at others, because then that would be draining your energy only. Them vampires, they ain't really like
Exactly.
necessarily, not in a bad way, it just means that they're sucking off your energy, your life force, and you're getting nothing in return. So you just gotta heighten your alignment with what is for you already.
that's a fact. You hear that, guy, buddy?
Yes.
He hit the nail on the head with that.
That's a good perspective. We always
Yeah, that I want to know. I want her to expound on that just some more, please.
You would
it
like
was
Anna
very
to expand?
uh
Now, just elaborate some more. Just I don't know. Yeah, just elaborate some more for me.
Okay, I could give an example. So say for example, you have a friend who's literally continuously going through the same issues or a lot of similar issues within their life, and you are giving them the basic answers of which to escape the matrix in their mind. But they just continuously come with another problem and yet another problem and yet another problem. Instead of them going within themselves to resolve the problem, they're just using you to sharpen themselves. So what you would do, you would instead sometimes I don't like to say tough love, but there's a form of love of which is a highest form where you allow people to do things for themselves. Because a man and woman, they can only be blessed if they can learn to do things for uno self. So if they continuously come into you only instead of going within themselves and resolving what is their issue, seeing that they also are living their own life, then they are slowly losing themselves and slowly trying to become who you are. And the divine universe has only ordained for one you. So that's why it's gonna feel draining because they're becoming you instead of becoming themselves.
Right. Very well spoken. And I do agree. So at some point you just gotta let people go ahead and knock their head against that brick wall until they get it.
If that's how they need to align themselves to learn, and be rest assured it's gonna happen. Definitely, because I
As
mean,
long
like
as
we're
it's
saying, yes,
No, I'm sorry. I didn't know you wasn't done, but I was just gonna say, as long as it's not detrimental to the community, yes, go ahead and knock your head up against this brick wall until you actually find out that,
exactly,
things have to be done differently. But however, if knocking your head up against this brick wall because you can't get it, it's a detriment to the growth in the production of the community, maybe uh, you know, you're not with the right vibe. You're not with the right vibe or the
exactly,
right tribe.
exactly. And in that case is when you have to perform one of the most highest form of love, which is distancing yourself from that energy. Because if you're always up under an energy that's not aligned with yourself, then there's going to be war or disagreements consistently and draining of energy. So ones have to connect with the right forms of energy to create the right forms of alignments. And eventually everything will still connect like a circle once you just maintain your astrological alignment, your energy.
Mm, yeah, and I oftentimes it's like, um, and this is I don't have anything against astrology, but astrology is like a guide, a help, an assister, you know, um, because um, some of the communities that I've been a part of in the past is a lot of people hide behind astrology when it comes. Like someone spoke about it earlier. I forget exactly who it was, but where people hide behind astrology. Like, oh, well, this is what my sign says about me, so therefore, me putting forth this negativity, this negative behavior, this unwillingness to grow and look at myself in terms of the community. Not, well, this is my sign. This is I'm supposed to be like, because this is my house. This is whatever. And I and it's for me. Um, I definitely would love to be able to let a person like that know that, you're not looking at something, you're missing something. You have an equation set up in your mind, and there's an equation that's set up in the universe. And somewhere along the line, both equations are not matching. So when it comes time to, try to work the equation, you're not getting what you want. And then therefore you're not getting what you want and not understanding, then you start to suffer. And then your community starts to suffer. So it's I have not gotten into astrology, not to the depthness of you guys, but I definitely one day would like to, but I would have to do that in private, maybe with a community. If I am a part of a community, maybe me and that community can sit down and go through some things. But I have an issue with um, that's like my astrology chart, as you got. I think I said that right. The astrology chart is like the blueprint to your life, to your soul, to everything. And if the wrong people get a hold of that information, it could be like a terrible experience. And maybe somebody could, shed light on me or offer something different for me that maybe I'm operating out of fear or anxiety concerning, one's, you know, personal reading of the astrology and how you figure out your houses and all that good stuff.
Okay. Um, if nobody else minds, if I could respond one more time to the brethren, I would actually, I wouldn't say you may be acting out of fear, but more out of a discernment. You are practicing a form of discernment because it's something new, it's a new venture to you, and you are aware that the world does contain things that can distract you. So that's good that you are using your discernment. What you can do is just keep in mind that these things are extensions, just tools of ourselves, things that we already possess anyways. And it's man-made, yes, but based on patterns within life itself that they've just been studying and they create. So you can actually, over time with your own personal studies, become an astrologer, create your new patterns, new things that you've seen through evolution. And once it is consistent, you can then say, okay, well, this is that, that is this. And that's basically what's going on with astrology. It's been studied by individuals, just regular life patterns, and they put their own man-made words and terminologies to it, in a sense to speak. So just always remember, it's just a tool to use, to utilize, but it's already within you. It's just to extend it outward.
Your mic, your mic kind of like it,
It went out
it's
at the.
going, yeah.
But what she said is it's a tool, but it's already within you. So we only study astrology as a tool to understand something that's already within. So that's why a lot of people.
Right, that's exactly what I said.
Mhm. That's why a lot of people
Yes,
don't even want
and
to study astrology. Like, I know myself. But if you use astrology and study it with your discernment too, you would be able to see what you want, what you feel can help you better yourself or more understand yourself in life, and maybe understand a certain energy, embrace certain energies within you, or raise certain vibrations of energy within you. Is just by studying it. You don't have to give other people it. You can definitely look it up, and we are going to have astrology classes soon, just to teach on what astrology is and certain aspects and certain placements and things like that. But other than that, you can just go online and get a free astrology chart and then start like looking up what does this, and for example, a sun and a Leo in 11th house, what does that mean? And then when you look it up, you'll see like different like blogs or people on YouTube talking about it, and this is their perspective of what that means. So that doesn't mean that it's, and this is how astrology, especially with youth, can be utilized to like make them think that they are this or that and stay like that. And this is just how my chart is, because different people are speaking on what they think that these energies mean. That's why you always got to go within after you read something or study something. You got to go within and say, does this resonate? Is this something I can use in my life? Some of the people's blogs that says, oh, Leo in 11th house, it doesn't resonate with me. It's not something that I feel that can help me in life. So it's not something you say everything somebody says this is real. No, you got to just look at different things and see if you can read something that can help you with life. Because astrology, not only just the charts, even if you didn't read the charts and just read about like what does this planet means or this sign means, then that is something that you can even become aware of. Like if you look into Virgo and see about the being overly or analytical and detail oriented, or overthinking about certain things, and you see how it's used in a unhealthy way and it's used in a healthy way, you can then look within yourself and see how you can use that type of energy. So it don't have to be based on your chart, because I do believe that everybody has, all these different signs within them. So if you did study astrology, it just helped with me personally. It helped me to understand energy more, to look at